If you're someone who just owns too many things and you're debating what you got to keep and what you got to get rid of, I'm going to offer you a simple test to determine those things, and it's called the poop test. And you are going to hear me out on this one. All you have to do is take each item that you are debating getting rid of or keeping and determine if this item were covered in poop. Maybe your dog just had a bad day and just decided to take a shit all over your possessions. Would you clean it or would you just toss it? And once you apply this test, you'll see just how easy it is to see what you actually need, what you actually care about, and what you don't. Because the things that you do care about, the things that you do need, you are going to wipe the shit off of it happily. And I mean that shit is in there. It's in the crevices and everything. But if it's something you don't care about, you're not going to worry about wiping that off. You're just going to get rid of it. Think of how many things you own or are just in your house that you don't use. And you wouldn't have even realized that if that item had disappeared previously, you wouldn't even have noticed. I was cleaning off the top of my counters the other day and I noticed a toaster. Now this is my toaster, but I had the thought to myself, if a robber came in a couple months previously, took that toaster, nothing else, and then dipped, I wouldn't have even noticed he was there. I never use that toaster. But what's insightful is that if that toaster just happened to one day be covered in shit, maybe a bird flew in and took a big old dookie on it and then left, I would still take the time to clean the toaster. And you might think this is speaking of a bird, holy shit. But you might think this is counterintuitive to what I was saying earlier. If I don't use something, why would I care enough to clean the poop off of it? The point is that the test really shows items that just kind of sit there and don't do anything. Think of how many hoarders exist and just collect random bullshit like antiques that just don't do anything and serve no purpose just to take up space. And think of that toaster. At minimum, even while covered in shit, it could probably still work and make toast. It still has a purpose. And so the reason that I would keep the toaster and clean it off is because I know that if I did need a toaster one day, I'm not going to go about and buy a new one. Like, I have a working toaster. It's just that I haven't seen a need to use that. And I feel like this is what a lot of people think they are doing when they hoard things is, oh, I have this one item. Maybe one day I'll need it. Maybe one day someone will be like, hey, do you have this specific ass thing? And be like, yes, I do have it. I've had it for years. But that is not a justification for hoarding. I'm in a field. I could take up all of this shit, all of these trees, saying one day the apocalypse is going to strike. We're not going to have any trees. Better collect them while they're here. And, I could be right, but that is not a mindset to live by. You should not own things for the sole purpose of saying, well, I might need it one day in this very specific case, or it's kind of cool. Again, apply the poop test. See how much shit you actually care about versus things that you would not take a second glance at if it was covered in poop. Poop on all of the items in your house.